Hi, welcome to Marriott MBA Today. I'm your host, Josh Skelton. Are you a first-year MBA student who's looking forward to your upcoming internship and wondering how you can nail it? Well, if so, you're in luck, because with us today is Brad Peterson, second-year MBA student in the finance track, who did just that this last summer while on his internship with Target. On today's episode, we'll be talking a little bit about Brad's experience at Target, how he was able to receive that full-time offer, and some advice that he has for first-year MBA students as they head out onto their internship. Brad, thanks for joining us.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, Brad, why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience at Target and maybe a little bit about the projects that you worked on?
Sure. So I worked at Target at their corporate headquarters in Minneapolis. As part of their finance department, more specifically, I was working on what they called their multi-channel department. So it was taking their brick-and-mortar stores and their online presence and mixing it together. And with Target, there's different cost structures depending on which way you as a guest got your items. And so mixing the two of those together, like buying something online and then picking up on the store, was something that they needed more help kind of forecasting out. And so my job was to figure out what that was going to look like financially so that they then could accurately forecast that to Wall Street through their earnings calls.
Sounds like a very worthwhile internship.
That was a lot of fun.
Enjoyed it. Well, great. How did you feel your BYU preparation matched up against your competitors from other MBA programs? I know Target typically recruits from top 10 programs. So were you worried about your competition at all? And if so, how did you end up faring against them?
Sure. You know, I think that anyone going into an internship worries a little bit of how you're going to stack up, right? The great thing was when I got into that, there was 9 of us finance interns, 7 came from top 10 schools. And I felt that my preparation here at BYU prepared me very well to perform well in my internship. And so with my internship, it wasn't, I wasn't just employing the finance things I learned in the program. There was a lot of supply chain, there was a lot of marketing, there was also a lot of HR. And what I was doing, I was integrating all these different parts into my project. The great thing was I felt like I was with all of my colleagues from these different schools step for step the whole way.
I'm sure the core professors would be glad to hear that their classes paid off for you.
Absolutely.
So if there was 3 things that you could give advice on for first-year MBA students going on to their internship, what would you say would be the 3 things they could do in order to really nail the internship?
Well, first I would say to be able to manage your time effectively over the summer. You know that you have a set amount of time over your internship, so whether it's 10 weeks, 12 weeks, or maybe even longer. But with that, as soon as you can, lay out a plan of different milestones that you want to hit as you're going throughout the summer. So that way you kind of minimize those surprises and those unforeseen things that come up that are going to happen no matter what you do. And so by having that timeline, it helps you kind of to plan for those and make sure that you get where you need to be by the end of the summer. Number 2, I would say to really understand and figure out your manager. Figure out how they work, how they want you to report to you, how detailed you need to be with them as you're going throughout your process, and really be able to make sure that you understand how they communicate and how they want you to communicate with them. Because a lot of times your manager has the majority of the decision of whether you're going to get that full-time offer. So your relationship with your manager is going to be very important. And lastly, for your final project and your presentation, I always recommend to be able to kind of learn the language of the company that you're at. So as you're doing your presentation, you're giving it as if you're already part of the company, not someone that's an outsider coming and trying to just be a consultant, so to speak. You want, by that final presentation, to appear that you're already part of the company, and it's a very logical next step to saying, you know what, we should make sure that that Josh comes back here full time because he's already basically part of the company.
That's great advice. So out of those 3, time management, managing your manager, and nailing the presentation, which of those 3 do you feel helped you the most get your full-time offer at Target?
For me, I feel like it was the time management portion of it. It kind of set me up for success the whole rest of the way. If I had clear milestones of where I wanted to hit, that allowed me to have something to talk to my manager about and making sure that we were on the same page, and then allowed me to have all the necessary things in order for me to be able to kind of nail that final presentation and get the results and the buy-in that I needed from the rest of the company.
Great, thanks. So With this wealth of knowledge, I hear that you're going to be leading the Nail the Internship workshop coming up soon. Would you mind giving our viewers a little preview of what's to come?
Sure. The greatest part about this Nail the Internship workshop is that you're not going to be learning just from me. We have a lot of different second years that have had some phenomenal experiences that we're going to be sharing a lot of best practices, about the time management, managing your manager, nailing the presentation, but also different things about like networking with different people, how to deal with social events, maybe some of the logistical parts of, how do you get out of your internship, that type of thing. So it should be a really, really good internship workshop.
That sounds great. I'm going to have to go because I'm interested in all those aspects. Well, Brad, thanks for joining us today. I'm sure your wealth of knowledge will be very helpful for many of our first-year MBA student viewers. I'm looking forward to your workshop, and thank you for joining us on another episode of Marriott MBA Today.